you're seeing 5, 6, 7 or more of these signs in your relationship, then that's a pretty good bet that it's time to go. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Heather, and on my channel I talk all about faith-based dating and relationships, how to thrive in your single season, and prepare for a healthy kingdom marriage. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And if you are a returning subscriber, hello and welcome back. Also, if you are over on Instagram, be sure to follow me over there. And let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So in today's video, I'm talking about 10 signs that you may be in a toxic relationship. And at the end of the video, I'll also be sharing some tips on how to leave that relationship if you find that it is toxic. So what is a toxic relationship? Well, a healthy relationship is one that makes you feel good about yourself. It's centered around trust and wholeness. Whereas a toxic relationship is actually damaging. It can be damaging to your self-esteem, it can be draining, and it can actually be something that's unsafe for you to stay in. The first sign that you may be in a toxic relationship is that the other person does not respect your boundaries. They are constantly crossing your boundaries and pushing you to do things that you don't want to do, or they are damaging you emotionally by crossing your emotional boundaries. When you are with a healthy person and in a healthy relationship, then you won't have to worry about them crossing your boundaries. They will uphold those boundaries and respect you for that. So if you find that that's happening, then that's a good sign that you're in a toxic relationship and it might be time to think about getting out of it. The second sign is that you feel bad all the time. You feel bad about yourself. It's affecting your self-esteem. And instead of feeling replenished and uplifted, you are feeling drained by the relationship. And a lot of times we get in a cycle and we get used to being in a toxic relationship because we don't know anything different, and we start to think that that's a normal feeling. But I'm here to tell you that it is not normal to feel that way. You shouldn't feel bad all the time when you're in someone's presence or after you leave their presence. You should feel good and uplifted when you're in a healthy relationship. So that is definitely a sign that the relationship is toxic. Another sign is that they are pulling you further away from God. And I believe this is something that you'll be able to feel in your spirit. You'll know whether something is not right, whether you're not feeling as close to God when you're around this person. And that's why I think it is so important to be equally yoked and make sure, like I said in my past video, that you're not allowing all of your focus to be on that person to the detriment of your relationship with God, and vice versa. Number 4 is that they treat you like you are an option. They don't make plans with you ahead of time. They're always calling or texting at the very last minute, or just hitting you up when they feel like it. You are not the priority. That is a sign of a toxic relationship, and it's definitely not something that you have to put up with or stay in. The 5th sign is that the relationship is one-sided. You're putting in all of the effort, all of the time, all of the energy is coming from you, and you're not seeing that coming from the other person. It's not reciprocated. Relationships should go both ways. You should both be putting in effort, and you should be seeing that the other person is investing in you just as much as you are investing in them and into the relationship. Number 6 is that you feel like you need to fix yourself or work on yourself to get this person to love you or to make the relationship work. I was in a relationship like this where I constantly felt like I needed to change things about myself. I needed to work on things in order to keep them and in order to be what they thought that I should be. And that is just so toxic and not okay. If you feel like you have to work for someone's love, or you have to constantly be changing yourself in order to be good enough for them or in order to make the relationship work, then it's not worth staying in that relationship. The 7th sign is that you don't feel secure around them. You don't feel secure in their presence. You constantly feel uneasy, or like you have to check up on them, and they aren't worried about your feelings or trying to combat those emotions that you're having. They don't protect your heart. That is not a healthy way to feel, and I'm here to tell you it's not normal. So if that's become your norm in your relationships, not trusting the other person or feeling uneasy, feeling like you have to check their phone or their email. In a healthy relationship, there is trust, there's an ease. And I can tell you that before I met my husband, I felt that uneasiness and that distrust in almost every single relationship. But since I've been with my husband, I've never once felt the need to check up on him. I've never felt uneasy about what he's doing or who he's talking to. And it's been so refreshing because that's the way relationships are designed to work. And I want that for you too, and for you not to settle for anything less than that. All right, number 8 is a pretty obvious one, but I wanted to make sure I included it, and that is any physical or verbal abuse. If any of that is happening, then that is a huge red flag that is extremely toxic, and that's definitely a sign that you need to leave the relationship. Number 9 is that they are currently dealing with addictions that they can't seem to get control of. And it's not your place to be able to heal them from that addiction. Now, I'm talking about in dating relationships, not in marriage. Marriage is going to look a little bit different, but in a dating relationship, if they are dealing with addictions that they can't get a handle on, then it's best if you let God heal them from that. It may just not be the right time for the two of you, and maybe you'll come back together in a different season when they've had time to heal from those addictions and work through them with God. And number 10, I touched on previously, but that's that they don't protect your heart or care about your emotions. If they're constantly brushing off your feelings and your emotions, and saying things like, oh, you're just too sensitive, then that's a sign of a toxic relationship. In a healthy relationship, you should be able to express your feelings, and the person that you're with should respect those feelings and try to work through them with you rather than just brushing them off and making you feel bad. Because again, you should not feel bad when you are in a healthy relationship. Yes, it's not going to be perfect, and there may be times when you do feel bad, but if it's something that's happening all the time and you feel this way all the time, then that's a sure sign that it is toxic. So if one or two of these signs exist in your current relationship, it may not be an automatic deal breaker. That's something that you'll have to work through with that person and pray through. But if you're seeing 5, 6, 7 or more of these signs in your relationship, then that's a pretty good bet that it's time to go. So you've listened to the signs and you've discovered that you are indeed in a toxic relationship. What do you do now? The first thing that I would say is that you have to let go of that memory that you had of them when things were better, or your expectation for them to change back to that person or to change into some future person that you're hoping for them to be. If they are showing you who they are, then you need to believe them and let go. Don't fall into the trap of settling for potential. The second thing that will help you leave and let go of this relationship is to remind yourself of who God says you are and to work on your self-esteem through His Word and through who you know you are in Christ. Build yourself up and realize that you are worth more than being in a toxic relationship. You are deserving of a healthy and thriving relationship, and you shouldn't settle for anything less than that. And number 3 goes hand in hand with that, and that's to realize that you deserve better and you don't have to settle for anything less. There are good men out there, and you don't have to stay in a relationship that is unhealthy. And the longer you stay in a toxic relationship, the more damage you are doing to yourself and your emotions, and the harder and the more time it will take to heal from that relationship when it does end. It is going to hurt when you end the relationship, but that temporary pain is worth it for a better future and to be in a thriving and a healthy relationship. So if you have to end the relationship and be alone for a season, then that's far better than staying in something that's not good for you. So that is it for today's video. I hope you found these tips helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any signs to add, or if you have experienced any of these signs in your own relationships and what you did to break out of that, because I'm sure that others have experienced it as well, and we can all learn from each other. Thank you so much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.